So you might have seen this article or you might have heard about this news that serving IAS, IPS or IPS officer cannot reappear or cannot be an IPS officer at all. Specifically for IPS officer, there are a few rules for the IPS officer have been introduced by the UPSC. And if you are preparing for the UPSC, so you must know these rules, right? In order to get whatever you want. If you have already become an IPS officer, if you are already an IS officer, or if you are already an IFS officer, what are the rules? What are the rules say to you? And you have to know about this. If you can't, so what you have to do, you just have to watch this video till the end. And if you like this video already, just hit that like button. So we will just talk about these rules. What are these rules? Okay, many people on the internet, what they are doing, they are just like spreading rumors. They are just spreading fake news or wrong news about this. They are spreading wrong information about this, right? And most people are scared. They are just saying on the social media that this is happening with you, and new students get scared a lot because of this spreading wrong information. So I will explain everything using the official rules or official websites of the UPSC, right? So you can also do that by just visiting the UPSC website, official website of the UPSC, right? So I will start the video now. If you want to know further, what you have to do, you just have to watch this video till the end. So what are these UPSC rules specifically for IS, IPS or IFS? So we will talk about that. Okay, so if you are already in IS, IPS or IFS, congratulations, right? So the first rule says here, IS or IFS already selected. What does it mean? If a person is already appointed as an IS or IFS officer from an earlier exam and is continuing in service, they cannot appear in 2026 CSE exam. What does it mean? For example, if someone has given the exam of an like UPSC and he has been selected for an IS or IFS officer, he is already IS or IFS officer, so he cannot give this exam again. Like he cannot appear in CSE UPSC 2026. It means he cannot give this exam. He cannot give this exam at all. For example, I would just say, we will take the example of Ramesh, who cleared the exam in 2023 and he joined IS in 2024. So what will happen with us? He cannot give this exam. He cannot fill the form for CSE UPSC 2026. So the first rule is clear. If you are already IS or IPS, you cannot become an IS officer or you cannot reappear in this exam. I would just say, okay. The second rule just says like IS, IFS, IS or IFS appointed after prelims 2026. What does it say? It says if someone clears prelims 2026 but before mains get appointed as IS officer or IFS officer from an old exam, they cannot write mains. For example, that it also goes like that. If you are already given the exam, if someone has already given the exam and he is allowed it, he's been appointed as an IS or IPS officer and he just wants to become IFS officer. For example, that he wants to become IPS and he just wants to reappear and he's already given the exam, but now he has cleared the prelims exam, right? He has cleared the prelims exam. Even though he has cleared the exam, he cannot become the IS or IPS. Means he cannot write the exam, I would just say, if he's already been selected. So example, I would just say Suresh gave prelims exam in 2026. He qualified prelims. For example, he's just giving the exam in this year 2026 and in September 2026 he gets an IS office, means IS appointment from 2024. Means he has given the exam in 2024 and he has been appointed as an IS officer. So what will happen to him? Even though he passed the prelims 2026, means he wants to become IPS. He has been an IS officer, but he's not satisfied, so he wants to become an IPS officer now. So he's just reappearing. Okay, that's the issue here. So he's not allowed to write mains exam, right? So the exam results came and he became an IS officer and he's been appointed as an IS officer. He wants to become IPS officer, but he cannot. He cannot be allowed to write mains exam of 2026, even though he has cleared the prelims exam. So this is the issue here. This is the rule. Okay, if you are already appointed as an IS officer from the previous exam, let's say in 2024 you have given the UPSC exam and you has been appointed as an IS officer, you have like got the IS appointment later, and if you want to become an IS officer, you are giving the exam in this year in 2026 and you clear the prelims, so you cannot write the mains because you are already appointed as an IS officer. So that's the rule. That's the second rule for us. right? So the third rule says IS IFS appointment after main selected. What does it say? If appointment to an IS or IFS happens after mains exam has started, but before results, the candidate before the results, okay, the candidate will not get any service from CSE 2026. So we will understand this from the from what you say from the example. Okay, so Amiz is writing mains 2026. Okay, means he has cleared the prelims and now he is writing mains 2026 CSE exam of UPSC. During the interview stage, he receives IFS appointment from an earlier exam. For example, he has given the exam of 2024 or 2025 and he has been appointed as an IFS officer. He has got the IFS appointment later, for example, and he is now in the interview of 2026, right? From the earlier exam, he got the IFS officer. So I mean CSE 2026 result will be ignored, right? Even if he clears the exam, he will be not given any post at all because he's already an IFS officer from the earlier exam, right? He will not get any job from CSE 2026. That's the rule here, like important new rule for IFS clearly written. Now we will talk about the IPS because IPS is also a prestigious job. Most of the students want to become an IPS officer, right? So the rule says that for the IPS officer, a candidate who has been selected or appointed to IPS officer earlier cannot be allocated IPS again through CSE 2026. Okay, this has been clearly given on the what you say on the in the official rules of it. So we will understand by this example. So for example, Vikas cleared 2022's exam of CSE UPSC, right? And he joined IPS in 2023 because he is from the 2022 batch of the IS like UPSC exam, right? He is from that cadre and he is an IPS officer already because he became in 2023 an IPS officer. So that's the issue here. That's the picture here. So in 2026 he again gives UPSC exam. So what something happens to him, he just wants to give exam and he wants to become an IS officer. So that's the issue here. That's the picture here. Okay, even if he gets a good rank, okay, even if he cracks exam with a good rank, he cannot be given IPS again. For example, if he wants to become an IS officer but he didn't get that much rank to become an IS officer, an IFS officer he can't become like that, but he wants to become again an IPS officer. So will he be given this job? Of course not. That's the rule of UPSC. Once you are selected as an IPS officer from the earlier exam, and if you want to become an IS officer and you are giving the exam again in next year, and if you fail, if you like somehow get good ranks and all, but you can't become an IS or IPS officer, so you want to revert to the IPS job, you want to become again IPS officer, can you do that? No, you can't do that. UPSC clearly says that once you become an IPS officer, you cannot give, you can give the exam, but you cannot be allotted an IPS officer job at all. That's the rule of UPSC, right? So this is like that. UPSC has given these rules. UPSC is instructed clearly, specifically about the IPS, right? So this is the what UPSC is stopping. You cannot become IS twice, you cannot become IPS twice, IFS twice, or you cannot become IPS twice. Most of the students, they just say that, like, do that. Once they become IPS, they want to become an IS officer, they reappear into exam, and what they do, they crack the exam, and if they can't get an IS officer job, so what they want to do, they just want to become an IPS again because they have already become an IPS officer. But it won't work right now in 2026.